The following are points of value which will particularly help sensei but are good for every student to know because they are values and principles I feel strongly about. From time to time in the class, it's good to promote discussion on what GKR and karate in general means to you. Rather than just doing a class and teaching a class, I'm talking here, I guess. Another point is discuss what is specific to GKR that gives us our identity. I can tell you what I think, but you can explore it, think about what it means to you. Discuss the deeper meaning of the dojo. Just make sure that you understand it. Discuss the deeper meaning of a sensei. Why the do is very important. Another very practical thing is how to tie the belt correctly. It drives me nuts. Somebody's almost black belt, the belt is tied incorrectly. In the bowing time period, we should be allowing about 30 seconds sometimes. People should know better. Bow is about 4 seconds. So just make sure you make that closed eyes, so-called meditative time, about 30 seconds. Each student should not harshly judge their sensei, but appreciate that their sensei is doing their best. So each student, in an ideal world, should be a de facto assistant and support to the sensei. Understand the importance of kime. Understand the importance of sandome. Make it your job to understand basic history. For example, the roots in Okinawa here, of course, Naha, the Shuri origins. I'm not perfect on it by any means. I should study to get it really clear in my head. I think I've got it reasonably right these days. But even learning some of the masters' names, if somebody says to a black belt, Carla, what do you know about Gichin Funakoshi? You shouldn't say, well, he was a karate guy, wasn't he, years ago? No, you should know something. And Shojin Miyagi and so on. Understanding the history and growth from Okinawa, to Japan, through Funakoshi, later the international growth from the Ryukyu Islands, now Okinawa, by US servicemen after World War II. Be able to appreciate the similarities and also differences between Kung Fu, karate and Taekwondo. Be open-minded and respectful of other karate clubs and organisations. Learn how to encourage, because it doesn't always come back the other way. Doesn't mean we have to be like that. Learn how to encourage students to stay training and not to give up. Teaching the attitude of do the best you can with what you've got. Do not judge your fellow students. You don't know their circumstances. Whilst you should be disciplined and train hard and properly, take pressure off yourself to be perfect overnight. You don't feed a newborn baby a T-bone steak. Try it. I think that's what we used to do back in '64 with karate. Attitude is everything. Don't be jealous of another student, for example, being graded before you and seemingly unfairly to you. Don't crave getting your next grade in a wrong way. It'll come. Train for the sake of your own growth and enjoyment. Now, obviously you will get a grade. What if for some reason it didn't happen? Could you find that you can just train because you want to train? What if your instructor, your master, was just wanted to prove a point or had some reason you didn't even know? Would you say, well, I want the grade? No, you're here to train, surely. Just enjoy the technique, enjoy the growth of the actual karate. As a sensei, be willing to train harder then your students. Be a shining example of discipline. Wow, that's a big one. We promote discipline as one of the fruits of karate training. We all want to be fit and healthy. I know physical fitness or lack of it, particularly pertaining to excess weight, can be a sensitive subject. But if that's an issue for you, be humble enough to ask for help. Exercise the discipline that karate builds. Trust me, it'll be more difficult if you delay it until you get older. Also, health problems may show up in older age that were growing unbeknownst to you. So staying healthy will maybe help retard that bad stuff happening. In GKR, we must respect our older students and those with disabilities. It's very important they're respected and given full value as we would to the most technically skilled student. We should be careful to grade older students and students with various physical and mental issues appropriately and not unreasonably hold them back because their technique is not pretty or their kumite is not as strong as a younger student. We must also remember that good karate comes from good basic fundamentals. Always have respect for Kihon. Remember, Kihon precedes kata, and Kihon and kata are to serve kumite. Let's have reverence and respect for past and present masters. Give them their dues. Understand that stepping into the dojo, we take our shoes off, bow, and then on entering the dojo, I'm metaphorically entering into a spirit of discipline and respect and adherence to technique. See your fellow karateka not as competition, but as a friend to work with so you learn together. Leave your ego aside. If you're a billionaire or the Prime Minister or a highly qualified professional, can't say millionaire anymore. Most of us here are millionaires or something like that. Billion is a bit different. But anyway, whether you're a wealthy person, Prime Minister, or a highly qualified professional, you are equal to your fellow karateka, who might not hold the same social or professional status as you in the dojo, but in the dojo you are equal. Have an uplifting and encouraging attitude towards your fellow karateka. Always edify, never be jealous. Live in and outside the dojo with an attitude that good character and caring for others are values to pursue. In fact, are the most important aspects of a good life. Too many senseis and masters rest on their laurels and will not train as hard as they ought to, and find excuses to sit and watch or just teach without using that opportunity to get sweaty themselves. Please don't fall into the habit of being an armchair sensei. Students are inspired by a senior who still puts in the hard yards. We need to realise we live in a modern age of enlightenment, re-karate attitudes and methods and training as opposed to years ago. Even as early as 1964, for myself, when I began karate, various techniques were unknowingly, at the time, bad for our knees and other parts of our bodies. Side and round kicks are not natural, and when overdone, may be a problem later. We need to respect the fact our bodies are a little different, one person to the other, particularly relating to flexibility and range of motion. So we need to work within our limitations, as long as those limitations are not excuses. So, well, that's it. I thought, like, I do feel a sense of responsibility to share things with you that I feel strongly about. You can take it or leave it, you know, like I say stuff that's, it's not preaching, it's not like some law, but I've been around a bit. I've made mess ups in my life. I've done some good things, I know. I've made some mess ups, but I do know that over the years, 78 this October, I clearly have clocked up some awareness and some knowledge, and so I just want to, I do feel responsible actually to share those things. So when I'm not around, there will be, but you know what? I know my top guys have got strong attitudes about relationship values and the things I talked about. So we're all in pretty good hands. Mind you, I'm going to hang around for a while. But is there anything, anyone would like to share any stuff? So there's a fair bit of sort of deep stuff there. So while we're in this sort of group environment right now, and there's a couple of minutes left, maybe 5 minutes. So please share me thoughts, if there is anything you'd like to say.
I think it's very
Nice and loud, darling.
I think it's very important that people realise it's not a race to get a belt. It is time, and when you are ready, both physically and mentally.
Yeah, yeah. Not a race to get your belt. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was green belt after I think 4 years. I was still a green belt because my instructor. That's the way it was. You know, it didn't bother me. I was proud to be a fifth Q, a green belt with a brown stripe on my belt. Everyone else was getting brown, black belts. I was still one of the group. I still felt I knew who I was. You know. Any other comments, guys? Just to inspire anything that.
Just for the instructors in the room, mentality that I use a lot. I teach over in Perth.
Nice and loud.
Just for all the instructors in the room, I teach over in Perth. I teach a kids class and a regular class on a Sunday morning. My primary goal as an instructor is to make my students better than me. One day. Doesn't mean I'm not going to make them work for it though. Continue improving myself, but I want them to one day surpass me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I quickly felt those things myself because, you know, I don't see myself as the most technically skilled craftman. I mean, I saw people in my early GKR that were really, really good. And, you know, I quickly was happy because I knew what I had. I knew I founded GKR. Bob's Karate School it was at the time. I was confident in myself in that sense. And I would hold that position. Wasn't let anyone play games with me there, but I was really happy to recognise people who have got good karate, and I want them to be better. Yeah. Not that I say better, but just as good as they can be. You know, whatever that means. Yeah. Again, nice and loud. Please scream it out.
Focus on basics.
Focus on basics.
Focus on basics that you built into your job.
Yep.
Training, going to strength dojo and different depends on how that's come out and how it's recognised. So it's testament to instructors here to keep that whole focus on basics. And it's recognised in this world of social media where there's armchair critics, turn of the hat, it's like GKR this and GKR. My experience is I've run training, there's lots of different ways to train, with head organisations, and there's been universal recognition of the strong basics that we develop in our group. So
what he's saying is we do get a lot of recognition around the place for our strong basics. It is true. Yeah. Yeah.
My instructor many years ago said to me that perfection is an illusion. So that stuck me very much so, not only in karate life but also in personal life as well. We strive for perfection, but as soon as you get there, there's something else. So something continues on that perfection before it's
I'm sure they comment like Six Night Show in America.
Practice doesn't make perfect, it makes improvement.
Yes, yeah, that's good. That's great.
I had a student who joined and got to his 8th Q, and then he had to wait 4 months to get to his 7th Q. But within 3 months he was asking, oh, why can't I go straight to my 7th Q straight right away? And he said, I went a bit hard on him and said, why do you keep focusing on your grading and focus more on your karate? And it was totally opposite of that. Since then he was only focusing on his karate and quality of his karate, and the grades just came by themselves.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah from UK. Some of you know me. I like to talk. I'm a teacher, my daytime job, and I'm a sensei by weekend, so I'm really a glutton for punishment, I think, working with little children all the time. So a lot of my students have joined GKR, and one of the basic questions they ask me is, oh, what will we learn doing karate, because there are other martial arts and stuff. So I say to them, my best answer is that you will learn resilience, you will learn mental toughness, because the physical strength is great. I mean, it's great to be able to kick someone in the head. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but you know, it's not like people on the street are like attacking you, depending on like, you know, how violent you are and where you are. You know, you may be going on picking fights. But yeah, and they agree, and I've seen that firsthand in my students. They've joined really sort of shy children who can never put their hand up in class, and I've seen their confidence just bloom and their ability to kind of believe in themselves. So I just really think that that's, for me personally as well, is very, very true. Since joining GKR, I feel that I've developed a mental toughness and a mental fortitude that has helped me. Life has certainly not gotten easier, but I have become better at dealing with what it throws at me. So thank you, Kancho, and thank you, GKR.
We have to go, but maybe we can continue the next couple of days. We can find a bit more time to talk. You find it valuable though? Yeah. So, but we'll just see how it goes, because we give a training, but to really understand concepts and talk and share things like this is very, very good too. So we'll continue on with our next segment of training. Thanks, guys.
Hey.
Let's do a standing bow out.
Hey.
Okay, no lines, fine. Amazing Kancho. Right? Good. Okay, so we've got 20 minutes before James Pankowitz Kancho over there is about to run a 2-hour seminar. So utilize those 20 minutes productively. Toilet break, hydration, magnesium potentially, if you've got some magnesium tablets, some light stretching, getting off your feet, but just, yeah, try to make that as productive as possible. And just one of the housekeeping rules, if you do drink something, and Japan's very big on recycling, which is a great thing, of course, but you don't just throw like a Gatorade bottle or a Pocari Sweat bottle into the bin, you have to remove the labels. So you'll notice there's a bin for the stickers, and then a bin for the actual plastic itself, because they separate those. So just try to be mindful. I'll probably do a check at the end of the day anyway, and find myself ripping 100 stickers off bottles, but regardless, it'd be great if you could just remember that as well. And we'll see you in 20 minutes.
Hey.